Alright, good evening. I'm here preemptively doing the Disney tag because Sher has informed me that I am in fact going to be tagged. So I will attempt to answer the questions as best I can. So, question number 1. Which a scene in a Disney movie which I would like to experience? I would choose for this bit, the bit in Fox and the Hound immediately after Todd's mother is shot. And why would I like this part to experience? Because I would like a baby fox. That would be cool. Okay, so question 2, an unforgettable moment I have had at the Disney theme parks. Now, I've never been to any of the Disney theme parks, but there is a story which I'll never forget, which I've heard. Now, this is a third-hand story, and I heard it on the internet, so whether this is true or not, I'm not quite sure. I heard it from a source who wouldn't lie about it, but whether he heard it, from a reliable source is unknown to me. So, a married couple decided one day they'd been married for, I believe, not long enough that the honeymoon period had ended, but they weren't sort of... I think, I don't know, they'd been married for a couple of years and they dated for some time before that. And they were going through their childhood photo albums. And they, at the time, the wife was showing the husband some photos of her when she went to Disneyland with her family. And when she got to one of the photos, the husband said, "Why do you have one of the photos of my family in your photo album?" She's like, "I don't. This is my family. See right here." In the sort of, I think it was just to the right of them, if I remember the story correctly, his family were actually walking through Disneyland at the exact same time, at the exact moment the photo was taken. So, yeah, that's a story I'll never forget, because that's incredible if it's true. Again, I take it with a grain of salt, but if it is true, that's phenomenal. That two people who were walking through... I will expand on this story. They lived in separate parts of America. They had never met before. Their parents didn't know each other. They weren't... they were complete strangers at the time. Including their families. They weren't together. It was a completely freak coincidence. So that would definitely be a story from the theme parks which has stuck with me and probably will stick with me forever too. Okay, so what music reminds me of the Disney movies or the... I believe it's just Disney movies. Now people may consider this to be a bit of a cheat, but I don't care, I'm going with it anyway. Pirates of the Caribbean is a Disney movie for all intents and purposes. The characters appear in Disney Infinity, so therefore I'm going to count that. If anybody has ever played Battlefield 1942, it's a computer game that's about 10 years old at this point. If anybody's ever played that game, the music from the intro to Battlefield 1942 is exactly like the movie, the Pirates of the Caribbean movie music. Yeah, so that would definitely be my answer for that. I can't answer the next question because I've never actually been to the theme parks, so yeah, I can't answer question number 4. So we'll do question number 5. So question 5 is, if I could have a Disney character as my best friend, who would it be? I would probably go with Copper from Fox and the Hound. The reason why is because he's, very close to being someone who could be a real-life best friend. You just buy a bloodhound and, I believe he may not be a bloodhound, he might just be a regular hound, but yeah, you buy a hound and name him Copper, and then you treat him really nicely, and then he would be your best friend in real life. And, it's something that's perfectly legitimate and could actually happen. So question number 6, my favourite Disney princess. Favourite Disney princess is 100% beyond any doubt Elsa from Frozen. Ice Magic, Ice Palace. Anybody who says differently is lying. Not really. Favourites is all about personal preference, but yeah, I definitely prefer Elsa. Okay, so the scene in a Disney movie which never fails to make me cry, 100% absolutely. beyond any doubt, is the closing moments of Toy Story 3. I was approximately Andy's age when I saw the first one, approximately Andy's age again when I saw the second one, and had children about the same age as, what's her name? I forget her name now. That's really embarrassing because it's one of my favourite Disney movies. Whatever the little girl's name is. My kids were about her age when I first saw Toy Story 3. So, my entire life had led up to that. Characters which I knew and loved pretty much went on to someone who would become my children. And it was really emotional for me because I have a whole bunch of toys as a child which I loved and grew up with and cherished and was very, took great pride in. And they ended up going to my kids. So, that movie resonated with me on a level which was unbelievable. Finally, my favourite Disney movie. Now, I could go on and on about this movie, and I'm going to, in fact. So my favourite Disney movie, beyond any doubt, is The Little Mermaid. Now, why The Little Mermaid is my favourite is probably an unusual thing. Disney in the late 80s, early 90s was broke. And that's why I'm such a fan of this movie. They bet it all, pretty much. If my understanding of if history is correct, they bet it all on The Little Mermaid, and if that flopped, Disney would be out of business. So if The Little Mermaid was not a good movie, we wouldn't have movies like Aladdin, we wouldn't have Toy Story, we wouldn't have Beauty and the Beast. Really, what could be considered to be the golden era, the greatest era of Disney. There's a lot, like Aladdin and The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast and all the movies which Disney has produced since The Little Mermaid have all been fantastic. They've been movies which adults have grown up with and shown their kids, and their kids love them just as much as the adults. It really did save Disney from bankruptcy. Again, this is provided I remember my Disney history correctly, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. I've seen a lot of things where if I remember the documentaries that I've seen correctly, Disney really did. They bet their last dime on The Little Mermaid making money, and it saved Disney from going under pretty much, which would have been terrible. Disney was because up until that point they hadn't had a lot of movies. When you think Disney, old school Disney, you think movies which were really in the 50s through to the 70s. They hadn't had a hit movie, a real hit movie, in years. So I have to vote for The Little Mermaid purely and simply because it kept Disney alive and allowed them to create the content which they have made now. Things like Frozen and Toy Story and all. I probably said Toy Story twice, but that's because it's one of my favorites. Cars, all those things. The Incredibles, all the Disney Pixar movies which I love, and all the regular Disney movies from the 90s which I love would not have existed with. So I have to give my favorite Disney movie to that one. Now, if I had to pick my favorite movie which I enjoyed, again, this one will be a little left field, but I would actually go with Herbie Goes to Monte. Actually, no, The Love Bug. Absolutely, The Love Bug. As a child, I would have said Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo because that one was aimed at kids more, but The Love Bug as an adult, I really enjoy. So yeah, now the part where I tag people. Now most of the people I know are tagged, so if I'm going to leave this as an optional tag, I'm not going to make this mandatory in any way because I only know these people and I'm pretty sure they haven't yet been tagged. But again, this is optional, so if you don't want to do it, just accept it, just, say don't want to do it because David doesn't know anyone else, I get a free pass. So I'm going to tag Kevin and I'm going to tag Max because they're the two people that I know the best because I hung out with them in the New Year's live stream. So alright, well that will do. I've got some of the incubi well on their way and a few more following up close behind, so hopefully I won't have too much longer because I really want these guys done by the weekend. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed my version of the Disney tag. Hopefully Shurs will come out soon, tagging me, so I can, actually prove to you that I did it, that I was tagged. But if not, well, doesn't matter. I answered the tag anyway because Disney is awesome, and I love them. So that's it. Until next time, enjoy your day.